what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. And I got a good question today. Someone asked me about gratefulness. I don't think I've really discussed this. Maybe a little bit I've alluded to it. And you hear about this all the time. A lot of people say, you know, they have a morning routine where they think of things that they're grateful for, or they practice gratefulness. And sometimes that can sort of be like the whole living in the moment type of thing or being present, where we sort of, it's a very good concept, but then it gets very disconnected from what it actually means because people just start throwing around this jargon and we lose the actual value and benefit of it. So I want to discuss that, talk a little bit about what I see gratefulness of and sort of what I see the benefit of, and sort of get rid of that woo-woo connotation of it that just sort of happened, right, as a lot of people have preached this. So it often happens with good things, right? A good thing happens or someone comes up with a concept and then everyone sort of piles onto it, and then you lose the meaning. It's almost like cargo cult programming, right, if you're familiar with that term. So the question is, I got a question for you that may be one day you can address in a podcast/video. Yes, I will. There you go. What is gratefulness? Is it a feeling? Is it a decision to feel a certain way or a decision to look at things differently? If so, then how so? I hear people talk about it, but I have never understood it. I grew up depressed and anxious person, but I have managed to mostly overcome those things. I wonder if being that way has caused me to understand things like gratefulness, as I am not wired that way, or caused me not to understand things like gratefulness. Now, anyways, love your podcasts and videos. God bless. So, okay, so let me give you sort of, let's answer the question, is this a feeling or a decision, right? This sounds a lot like love, right? And like, I think that the things, here's the thing, you don't really like love. Again, people say, oh, it's a decision. It's a choice that you make. It's something that you do. It's not something that you feel. Yes and no, right? I think gratefulness is the same way. What I think is that we have the ability to choose what we feel. And often, the way that we can choose what we feel is by the actions that we take or the decisions that we make, right? I've been to plenty of, Tony Robbins seminars where he'll tell someone, or if you've ever seen him tell someone, be sad. Show me what it's like to be sad. Be sad right now. And you'll see their body, their change, their posture. You'll see them, they actually have to physically change themselves, their physiology, in order to be sad. They get themselves into sad state. They can actually change it when they're asked to on command. They can become sad, right? Now, most of us can do that, right? I can make you angry. You could be angry, you could be sad, you could do that, but we don't program ourselves necessarily for the good things. We don't realize that we also can be happy. We can be energetic. We can be cheerful on command if we choose to make that choice. It's just that sometimes it's fun, it's exciting, it's self-indulgent. It feels good to wallow in the pain, to wallow in the sadness, to wallow in the victim mentality. It does feel good. It's addicting. It's like heroin, right? It is something that we enjoy doing, right? I myself am guilty at times in my life, even sometimes now, of listening to sad songs because I just want to be sad. There's something good about that pain, right? But it's not good. It's not a good state to be in, right? It's good to experience the full spectrum of the human emotions, but it's not good to stay in that state. But let's get back to gratitude. So what is gratitude? Is it a decision? Is it a feeling? What is it? It's a combination of both, right? I believe that you decide to be grateful, right? And that gratefulness, that decision to be grateful and to choose a way of looking at things in life and with a grateful attitude is what creates the feeling of gratitude and gratefulness. And that is what can spill over and you can become a grateful person. You can feel that feeling more often, the more that you access it, right? Our brains, our emotions are like ruts, or like, they're like pathways that get a rut in them, right? This is why I've talked a little bit about depression. I'll probably do a video about that in more depth. I have some radical views on it, but what I firmly believe is that our brains get into ruts and we get patterns of emotions and behavior. And the more that we exercise those things, the more that we're likely to stay in that rut. So if you're angry a lot and you allow yourself to be angry, you can become stuck in the angry rut where you're a lot of your state, the home that you live in, is in an angry place, right? You're mostly angry, you're mostly pissed off, you're mostly cynical, you're mostly snarky, right? You know these people, right? And maybe you, okay? Or the same thing can happen with depression, the same thing can happen with energetic people, right? There's a lot of, unfortunately, we mostly get stuck in the bad ruts because those are the ones that are self-indulgent. They feel good, like I said, because it's addictive to be in those states. It's just somehow how we're wired. Even though it's logically we'd rather be in the happy state. So again, getting back to the gratefulness, what I would say here is that, first of all, let's define it. Let's talk about, let's zoom out a little bit and let's say, what is gratefulness? What is it, whether it be a feeling or action or decision, what is the general concept? The general concept is this, and this is how you can feel grateful or you can decide to be grateful, is that gratefulness, right? Being grateful is all about it's a viewpoint where you're recognizing that instead of saying what you don't have, you're recognizing what you do have. Instead of looking at what is bad in your life, you're recognizing what is good. And there's always something to be grateful for, right? It's all perspective based, right? If you go and you talk to someone who has a worse life than you, they have less money than you, they have less opportunities, maybe they're crippled, they could have a whole bunch of bad things in their life, right? That you would say, man, I'm glad I'm not that dude, okay? But they could actually have a better life because they perceive it. They're grateful to be alive. They're grateful to be able to breathe in air. They're grateful to be able to eat every day because maybe their life was worse before, and they have that perspective. And so they choose to be grateful, right? They see their life as better. Whereas you could be rolling around in your Rolls Royce and your mansion in the Hollywood Hills and whatever, and you could be ungrateful because you could feel like you deserve more, you don't have enough, like there's bad things happening to you all the time and life is unfair. And so you could be very ungrateful, right? So it's all a perspective thing. And so what I would say is that being grateful is about this. It's about choosing to have the perspective that life is a gift, that good things happen to you, that you appreciate and don't take for granted the little things in life and everything that you've got, that you don't deserve it, but somehow it's amazing, right, that we are here on this planet, that we're alive, that we're breathing air, and that we can share our thoughts. It's amazing if you're watching this YouTube video that you can watch a YouTube video, that the technology has advanced to the point that you can have your phone or on your computer and watch it, or that you can afford the bandwidth costs of the internet to be able to do that. These are amazing things, right? If you're alive, it's amazing. It's amazing that you can get food, and if you work in a nice air-conditioned office, if you're a computer programmer, that is some pretty amazing shit, right? So I can try and tell you what to be grateful for, but that's sort of defeats the purpose. The whole point is that it's an attitude, it's a way that you perceive, that you choose to look at the world, where you say, whatever I have, man, I'm happy. I'm going to look at it from the perspective of, now what I don't have, but what I do have, damn, that's awesome. And so I actually try to practice this a lot, right? I'm glad, I'm so excited. I always say that I'm very content, but I'm still hungry. And what does that mean? That means that all the stuff that I have, like when I was sleeping on the mattress on the floor and I was living in my little tiny house that I bought, I was so damn grateful, and I was making $15 an hour. I was so great. I was thrilled. That was awesome. Who cares? This is the life. I've got it. This is awesome stuff. I was truly happy. I was getting a right coat. I was getting to do this stuff. I didn't have all the trimmings in the world, but it didn't matter because I was content in that. But I was hungry. I was still aiming and reaching for more. And today, when I wake up, my life is infinitely 100 times better than it was back then, but I still have that same amount of gratefulness, even more so, because, again, I could wake up and I could say, oh, well, I'm not Elon Musk, or I'm not Jeff Bezos, right? I don't have billions of dollars, man, that sucks, or I deserve more YouTube followers, or whatever that, but I could look and I could say, damn, you know what? Fucking 600,000 people watched my YouTube videos last month. That is awesome, right? I can choose that. That's a grateful attitude. Or I can say, that stupid PewDiePie guy, I can't believe he's got millions of, I'm better than PewDiePie, like, oh gosh, right? And I could be ungrateful about it, but I make that choice. And your life is better when you're grateful, right? Because what it is it's like everything's gravy, right? I think I'd used this phrase in the Entrepreneur's podcast before. If you haven't ever seen, you can check it out. It's a little confusing for some people, but it's basically like everything we're doing is we're building our businesses. But I think in one of the episodes I talked about how everything is gravy. Like that was my thought for the day. And what that means is that it's like, hey, you're an entrepreneur, right? Like, or you're running your business or whatever it is, or you're a computer programmer, or you're alive, right? And everything else on top of that is gravy. And that's the attitude to have. That's the attitude of gratefulness. And it makes your day so much better, right? I mean, how much better is it to wake up in the morning and to feel like, hey, everything is great, like to be thankful for all these things. It's the same thing, gratefulness, thankfulness, it's the same thing, but to be genuinely thankful, to really be grateful, to really say, man, and when you start developing that habit and you start developing that way of looking at the world, you stop becoming cynical. You stop becoming snarky. You stop becoming these negative things. And even when bad shit happens, you look on the bright side, right? And some people say, that's optimist bullshit. Hey, it's so much of a better way. Which emotional state do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a grateful state or a cynical, negative, jaded state, right? I personally prefer the grateful. I like to, share my life and be excited about it and happy about even the little things that happen to me. And then you know what happens when I lose shit? It doesn't hurt me as much because it was a gift anyway, because it was bonus and it was gravy. It was gravy, right? But when you're very ungrateful and you don't practice gratefulness, then you're holding on to the shit that you got. And if someone takes it from you, man, you've lost. You see it as a loss, right? And instead of if you see everything as a gift. So the whole attitude of thankfulness and gratefulness is all about just seeing everything that you have as a gift, choosing to see things that way. And we've all got plenty of things that we can be grateful for, that we can be thankful for. We just have to dwell on those things. So it is a good practice, I think, to think about what you're grateful for pretty often in the morning. As soon as you wake up, think about the things that you're grateful for that day, for the previous day. Thank your creator if you believe in your creator, or thank the universe if you don't believe in a creator, because you don't exist by your own will, right? I mean, you do things and you earn things and you put into effect your actions, which create results for you, right? You can take some ownership of that, but you didn't create you. You didn't decide to give yourself the attributes that you have, and you may have developed them. So there's definitely something to be thankful and grateful for, right? To have that opportunity. So that's what I would suggest, and even do it before you go to bed at night. I practice this very often, and you want to combat depression. It's really hard to be grateful and depressed at the same time. It's really hard to be grateful and angry at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of you can only really have one primary dominant emotion at any given time, and so if you choose gratefulness, that's a pretty damn good one. And you can always access that place, and you can think of memories or times when you've been extremely grateful, and you can summon that back up. You can do some NLP shit and actually anchor it and actually recall that gratefulness feeling whenever you want. If you want to get into that, I did a book review on NLP. On an NLP book, if you're interested. I've talked about this a few times. It's a useful technique. But aside from any of that, all you really have to do is just realize that gratefulness, being thankful, is a choice. And if you make that choice to do that, to perceive and see the world in that way, not only will you be a happier person, but you'll get the feeling. You'll get the feeling of thankfulness and gratefulness, and you'll be creating a new rut in your brain, your emotional circuitry, that is going to benefit you and can erase some of the old ones. The cynical, negative, snarky, jaded attitude, which is pretty much the opposite of thankfulness and gratefulness, is one that is not a fun place to be. It's a harmful place to be, and people don't like it. It doesn't help you in any way. It's so much better, even if people call you a dreamer. Plenty of people call me a dreamer. Plenty of people call me ridiculous. But you know what? Or a stupid optimist. Even if people call you that, so what? You're on cloud nine, and you're happy, and you're living your life, and you're grateful for the little things that you have in life, and you can enjoy those things. Well, where are they, right? You make your choices. Don't care what people think or judge you. You get a fucking case of the Mondays. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Hey, if you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button. I'm thankful, I'm grateful for all of you that have subscribed. Amazing that this channel has grown so much. I thank you so much. I am grateful every day that I get the opportunity to talk to you, to hear from so many of you, to change lives, to see your stories, to hear about your stories, and to make an impact on your life. So I love it. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Talk to you next time. Take care.